There's this document that I heard about but never knew it actually existed, and I found it. Well, I found the contents. The journal found. Whatever. Before I explain what this document is and what it says, a story. There was a young man who had a crush on his college professor. Let's call her Professor Morales. Now, Professor Morales led a class on religion in the media, but for the past few weeks, she had been studying the teachings of John Wycliffe. Real quick history lesson. John Wycliffe was this Oxford professor in the 14th century who led the efforts on translating the Bible to Middle English. But he was sort of infamous because while he believed in the Bible, he did not believe in the clergy at all. He went as far as to say that the position of the Pope embodied the Antichrist, that exorcisms were necromancy, that holy wars were flat out against God, a whole bunch of stuff. So 10 years after he died, his followers, they're called the Lollards, created a doctrine based on his teachings called the 12 Conclusions. The 12 Conclusions talked about priesthood, transubstantiation, which is the whole take this bread for this is my body, drink this wine for this is my blood stuff. It talked about clergy and political positions, giving money to the church for prayers. They went in. 30 years or so after this doctrine was released, which was 40 years after Wycliffe died, him and his followers were labeled as heretics, and they not only burned all of his work, but they digged up his bones and burned them and spread the ashes. However, there were always rumors of some of his works being hidden. Anyway, so Professor Morales had a particular expertise when it came to John Wycliffe and the Lollards. Some of the students reported that she had been exhibiting some very strange behavior. People said that she was increasingly paranoid and even complained about hearing whispers. So one day, Charlie stayed after class, waited so everyone left, and he went to inquire about the professor and her behavior. She assured him that she was fine because, she trusted him. She trusted Charlie, which makes it even more sad that the next morning, the police found her body hanging in one of the halls. Charlie was devastated. But sometime later, as he's going through his bag, he realizes that the professor stuck something in there while they were talking. Inside his bag was a ledger with a piece of parchment on top with some text on it that he didn't recognize the language, but there was translation right under it. And the translated text read, "On the 8th of Genesis, the land was split in two, a land of God and a land of serpents. Where there were 12, there is 13. Charlie had no idea what that meant, but there was also more translated text inside the ledger, but it was unfinished. In the weeks after that, Charlie became obsessed with translating the text in the ledger. He would sit in on linguistics courses, would spend hours upon hours every day in the library trying to translate this text. And according to other students, Charlie started to exhibit the same paranoid behavior that Professor Morales did. There was even a student that he confided in that he told he felt that something profoundly evil was following him. He even said that he saw unnatural faces staring at him. When the translation was done, Charlie was shocked by what he read. But he was also smart because he immediately hid the ledger. And not too long after that, Charlie was found in his dorm room with a knife and his wrists slit. They checked the security cameras. There was no evidence of someone breaking in, no forced entry, no foul play, so they immediately ruled it as a suicide. Later it was revealed that inside his dorm room he had a microphone and an audio setup basically, which they believed was going to be a suicide note. But honestly, I think he was about to tell everyone what he discovered and something stopped him. And what Charlie found was that among the hidden works of John Wycliffe, there was also a doctrine called the 13th Conclusion. And this one was supposedly very damning to the church. So it took me a while to find it, but I have the text here. I had to take various protections in order to be able to read this to you. So it should be okay, but if not, I don't know. So here we go. The 13th conclusion. The Devil's Craft. In the waning days of innocence, when the light of God is obscured by shadows most foul, the deceiver weaves a world of illusion before the eyes of men. By the falsehoods of wicked clergy and the craft of sorcery, this earth, thought to be of God's hands, is in truth claimed by the devil. For in the midst of righteous tongues, evil takes root, and the holy word is bent to sin. The land, once consecrated by the Almighty, doth now burn with the fires of hell. He, the father of lies, hath ensnared men's souls, and through wicked artifice doth make them believe in a world that is not the Creator's but that of demons. In the guise of virtue, the devil builds his dominion, and those who uncover this wretched truth are marked by the forces of darkness. For to recognize the devil's reign is to be damned, hunted by his foul minions, and silenced by the abyss of sin. The faithful who know this secret are as lambs led to slaughter, for Satan allows no witness to his rule. The righteous shall perish in confusion, their hearts torn between the teachings of Christ and the vileness that doth cloak the land. So shall it be, that those who see the devil's hand in all things shall be condemned to the bitter fate of knowing, but not escaping, the damnation wrought upon this world. The earth, once God's inheritance to mankind, now doth rot in the clutches of evil. The hand of the Lord is withdrawn, and in its place the devil reigns supreme. Verily, those who seek salvation shall find only the devil's mockery, for the world hath been turned against its Maker, and none but the lost shall walk upon it.